Hey everyone, welcome to the Web Developer Bootcamp at GDSC Kalindi. Today's session is on Firebase for Web, which will be taken by Mr. Rijraj Singh. Rijraj sir is a Google developer expert for Firebase and web technologies for 3 years now. Currently a full stack developer at AgroProp Consultants and a GDG organizer at Google Developer Groups Jalandhar. He's also been a club captain for Mozilla Developers Community. So Rajat sir has a great deal of experience of quite a few years in Firebase and web technologies. And without further ado, I would like to call Rajat sir now to begin the session.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much, for the introductions and having me for the 5D sessions. So as you know, my name is Richard, and I'm a Google developer expert for web technology and the 5Ds. And also, I'm leading GDG Jalandhar community in Punjab region. And also, if I talk about my professional experience, like I am tech lead at Across. So, so before getting started the session, here today, and first I'll talk about the web fundamentals, like how, like this session is all about the like web applications using the concept of 5Ds. So first we'll talk about web platform, like how we can create a web solutions for the web and what are the basic fundamentals for creating a web solutions, and then we'll talk about 5Ds, and then we'll talk about like how we can create web applications using Firebase. So let's get started. So talking about the web, so web is a the ecosystem where we can share the documents, where we can share the media file, audio file with the help of network. So we can create web has a three core components. First one is a website, and the second one is a browser, and the third one is a server. So if I talk about website, website is just like as a collections of web page, and we can create a web page with the help of HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript. Like if you want to create a structure of your web page, you can use the concept of HTML, hypertext markup language. Or if you have created a structure of your web page, then you can design your web page with the help of CSS, cascading style sheet. And if you want to make your web page more interactive, or if you want to perform some actions, then you can use the concept of JavaScript. So with the help of three basic core languages, you can create a website or the web applications. And each website have their specific entry page, or the name of your website is called as the domain. For example, you can visit the link, let's say twitter.com or the Facebook, Instagram. There are multiple websites, and you can visit the website with the help of the URL name is domain. So let's suppose you have created a website with the help of HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript. Now you need to test your web page. So for testing your web page, we need a browser. So browser is just like as the applications, you can install that applications in your system. And with the help of these applications, you can access your web page, how it will look like. And in the market, we have a lot of browsers, like you can use Chrome, Mozilla, Safari, Opera. There are multiple browsers you can use for accessing a web page. And each browser have their specific rendering engine that will render your HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript code into the UI part. So, like if I talk about Google Chrome, we have Chrome Create Engine, which is responsible for running your uh, like JavaScript code into the UI part. And in the market, there is a lot of alternative branding engine, let's say Blink, SpiderMonkey. It's totally depend on your problem statement or the browsers. So once you have created a website with the help of HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript, now you can test your web page or the access your web page with the help of browser. Now you want to make your website which will be accessible from different networks. So you need a server. So server is just like as a computer where you can upload your HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript file. And server is connected with the network, and you just need to access that particular server with the help of IP, and then you will be able to access your website. So server is just basically is a computer which is designed to process the request and that share the data to the another computer over the browser. And in the market, we have a three type of server, like say web server, and the second one is email server, and the third one is file server. So let's say if you are accessing a web page over the network, so there will be a web server, and which will work on HTTP protocol, hypertext transfer protocol. So let's say you are surfing a website name is twitter.com. So first you need to type http slash colon the twitter.com. So this is why we are using HTTP protocol. And the second server is email server. Let's say whenever you are sending or receiving a mail over the network, so there will be an email server. And the third one is file server. Let's say whenever you are downloading or uploading a file over the network, let's say on Google Drive or the YouTube. So there will be a uh, file server, and here you have to mainly work on FTP protocol, file transfer protocol. So this is the basic concept of web fundamentals. Like we can create a website with the help of HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript, and then we can access our web page with the help of browser. And each browser has a specific rendering engine that will render your HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript code into the UI file. And you want to make your website which is accessible from any locations, then you need a server where you can put your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code, and then you can access the website with the help of specific URL or the IP. So this is the main fundamental, and then there is a one more terminology is called as in the web is database. So database is just like a software where we can store our informations in organized way so that it can be accessible or manageable, and you can update the data in easy way. And in the market, we have a two type of database, like structured database and the unstructured database. So structured database follow the structure like schema. It is also called as relational database. It is highly organized and easily understandable by the machine language. So in the market, like if you are working on a structured database, like you have to work on a MySQL database. And if I talk about unstructured database, like you can store unstructured data, it means there is no schema. It may be textual or it may be non-textual data or maybe human generated or machine generated data. So there is no proper the schema, the structure of that particular data. So here in the unstructured database, mainly you have to work on MongoDB, and then there is a multiple database which is worked on unstructured database category. So this is the terminologies whenever you are building a web applications. So if you have to work on. And then I'm going to talk about like how you can start web development in the career. So here we have a three part, like you can be a front end developer, second one is you can be a back end developer, and the third one is you can be a full stack developer. So front end developer is also called as client-side development. And it is the best practices to producing your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code for your website. And mainly you have a UI, and you want to convert your UI in, like you have a data, and then you have to make the website with the help of HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript. So in simple way, a front-end developer, architect, or develop the website and convert the data into the graphical user interface. So if you want to start your career in the front-end development, first you need to focus on the code languages like HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript. So with the help of HTML, you can provide the structure, you can design the web page with the help of CSS, and if you want to make your web page more interactive, so you can use the concept of JavaScript. And with the help of these three languages, you can create a more scalable website. But if you want to make your website uh, or the web applications, which will be more understandable in terms of development or scalable, then there in the market we have a lot of frameworks or the libraries. So first one is Angular, which is designed by the Google, and the second one is Vue, which is created by the ex-Googler name is Ivan Vue, and the third one is you can use Progress library's name is React, which is not a framework, which is maintained by the Facebook team. And there is one more library you can use for creating a mobile responsive UI name is Bootstrap. So this is a proper roadmap for becoming a like front-end developer. Like first you can go with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then start building the website with the help of these things. And then you can scale your website with the help of any framework or the libraries, and then you can work on it. Then we have a next development path, which is named as backend development. Backend development refer to the server side of development, where you have mainly primary focus on how the website is working. So, like in the backend development here, mainly you have to work on a database part. You have to write a script. You need to manage the database. You need to manage the the business logic about your applications. So, like this is the roadmap. Like if you want to start your career in the backend development, first you need to focus on the core language. Like you can start writing the backend business logic with the help of JavaScript, or you can use Node.js, which is a runtime environment for running the JavaScript code on the server side. Or you can write your business logic with the help of PHP. There are multiple languages you can use for writing a backend logic, let's say Python, Ruby. There are languages you can use. And if you are using these languages, we have like scalable framework where you can use for creating a manageable business logic with the help of. So, like if you are working on a JavaScript or Node.js, you can use Express.js for writing a business logic. Here you can create APIs, a lot of things. Or if you are working on a Python, so we have a framework, alternate framework you can use for it in backend, which is named as Django and the class. Or if you're working on a PHP, you can write your custom business logic with the help of framework. Here in the market, we have CodeIgniter and the Laravel. And there is a more alternative languages name is Ruby, and we have alternative framework name is Ruby on Rails. And as a backend developer, you have to really focus on the database part as well as so here in the market when you are working on as a backend developer, you have to work on a database side. So you can get experience about MongoDB and MySQL, which is a part of unstructured and structured database. And the third part is full stack development. So what is full stack development? Full stack developer is just like a combination of front end developer and the back end developer. So you need a full knowledge about front end development, and then you need a full knowledge about back end development skills, and then you can be a full stack developer. So in the market, we have three types of jobs: full stack developer, non-stack developer, and non-stack developer. So here we are changing the frameworks like V for Angular, R for React, and V for Vue. So this is how in the market we have a lot of job openings and the career strategies. You can be a developer in the web technologies. So this is all about like the fundamentals, like how we can create a web applications with the help of any languages or the technical stack. And then yeah, you can earn a lot of money and you can earn a lot of knowledge in terms of experience. So let's say if you are in the college and you got an idea about, let's say, any startup. So let's say if you want to build any product or any idea. So you want to make the applications. So you are a little bit confused about the technical stack, like how we can like what type of language I can select for making this idea into the applications part. What type of database we can use, what type of let's say languages I can select for the back end, what type of languages or the framework I can select for the front end. So there is a lot of confusion in terms of development. And then somehow you are decided the technical stack, let's say for the front end we are using X, for the back end we are using Y, and for the database we are using Z. Then need to write a lot of amount of code, and the code part. And then there might be some issues related to security, code implementations, and the managing the database part, or making it easy to accessible to all the users. So then there is a unified solutions you can use to improve this user experience and solve these problems with the help of Firebase. So that's why Firebase came into the picture. So what is Firebase? So Firebase is a development platform that provide developers with a lot of tools and services to build high quality and scalable web applications. Even you, with the help of Firebase, you can grow your user base. You can earn more benefits in terms of users. You don't need to manage the infrastructure like business logic of your applications. Firebase will take care all of the things. In simple way, if you are a front-end developer, you can use Firebase. You don't need to write your back-end business logic. You don't need to worry about the database part. So Firebase mission is to help the developers succeed. And one of the best thing about Firebase, like if you are working on mobile applications development, let's say Flutter, iOS, Android, so you can use Firebase. Or if you are working on a web platform, you can even use Firebase. Or if you are working on C++ or the game development platform, let's say Unity, you can use Firebase. Yeah. Like as I mentioned, like Firebase is a like development platform where we just need to focus on the front end part. We don't need to worry about the back end logic because Firebase is providing a lot of services. So Firebase divided into the three main categories of tools and the services with specific roles. So first one is build better applications. So it helps you to build better applications by making complex coding process easier. Here we have a lot of services you can use, like authentications. You can authenticate your user with the help of these authenticate as a service. Or if you want to host your website, you can use Firebase hosting. So there is a multiple services within a build better applications you can use, and you can build high quality, high scalable web applications or the applications with the help of Firebase. So once you build your web applications, now you can improve your app quality by catching issues earlier and fixing them quickly. So here we have services like Trust Analytics, Performance Monitoring, Test Labs, and the Apple Solutions. The third one part is like first we have built the applications. Now we have improved the app quality. Now we can grow and engage more users with the help of the grow and engage user as a category. Uh, Here you can understand the user, like what type of user are coming, or you can get the analytics report. You can engage them with them in a meaningful way. You can trigger push notifications to the user to share the update about your product. So as you can see, there are almost 25 plus different products within a Firebase. Now I'll talk about Firebase, like specifically for the web platform. So here we have a Firebase for web. So if you are building a web applications with the help of Firebase, so here we have a lot of services you can use. Like you can use Firebase authentications, you can use Firebase Cloud Firestore, you can use Firebase real-time database, or you can use storage. So I'll talk about each thing in the next slide. So first one is Firebase authentications. So Firebase authentications, let's say if you are creating a website where user can log in or log out or create their account. So in general way, you need to write a custom business logic, like you need to create a backend logic for the authentications, like where user need to uh, put their email ID and the password. You need to store that particular email ID and password in the database part. And then there is you need to write a lot of amount of code for the authentication part. But if you are using Firebase authentications, which is out of the box authentication UI that optimize, that will give you the best user experience. Like they are providing some set of functions. You just need to invoke those functions with, and that's it. You can call Firebase authentications. And one of the best thing about Firebase authentications, like it will work with n number of different third-party service provider. Let's say you can authenticate your user with Google, Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, and even you can authenticate your user with the help of mobile number. Like your user need to put their mobile number, they will get the OTP, and then you can authenticate the user. So, like with the help of Firebase authentications, like there is some set of functions you need to invoke those functions, and then you can implement that functionality. So I'll give you the simple example. Let's say we have created a website where user can create their account, means user can sign up the account. So here we are using Firebase SDK 8, and here we are using the language is JavaScript. So we can create a variable with the help of let keywords. So here we have an email ID and the password. And then we have a Firebase. So here we are using Firebase. Inside Firebase, we are using authentication. So here we have a Firebase or auth is a method. And inside authentications, I want to create a user with email and password. So here we have a simple method name is create user with email and password. And inside this method, we just need to pass two parameters. First one is email and the password, and that's it. So this is a simple logic. You don't need to worry about the database part, like how the user informations or the password or the email ID will be stored in the database part. Firebase will take care of all of the things. You just need to invoke these functions and then you can perform authentications in easy way. And this will work as a JavaScript promises, so you can handle with the help of them and Cash. So this is the simple example for creating a user with the email and password. So if you want to be authenticate user with let's say Google account, so there is an alternative method name is you can check out the documentation and then you can perform this authentications. So next one part is Cloud Firestore. which is a database. And as I mentioned, like in the market, we have a two type of database, like structured database and the unstructured database. So, like Cloud Firestore is a unstructured database, and you can store the informations in terms of collections. Inside collections, you can create a multiple documents, and in each document, you can add multiple records. And this data is stored and synced between the user and devices at global speed. And it's a cloud-hosted NoSQL database, and you can perform n number of queries. There is some not such kind of limitations to the developer end. And most importantly, Cloud Firestore will automatically scale your applications. And one of the best things about Cloud Firestore, which is it's provide offline support. Let's say if you are out of the internet zone and you put some data in your applications, once you are connected with the internet, it will automatically sync with your client applications with the database part. And I'll give you the simple example for adding the data into the Cloud Firestore. So before taking to the code in Cloud Firestore, we will store the data in terms of collections and the documents. And each collections can have a multiple documents, and each document can have a multiple fields. So like here we have a like image, like we have a collections. My collections name is user, and inside collections we can create the documents, and each document can have a multiple fields. So here first I'll give it like this is the code snippets. So first we can create a database reference. Like first we are using Firebase. Inside Firebase we are using Cloud Firestore as a service. So here we have mentioned Firebase.firestore. So this can be work as a database reference, and then for writing a data or adding a data into the Cloud Firestore, so first we need to define the collections. So here we have written td.collections. Let's say I want to store informations in user collections, and for adding a data into that particular collections, we need to perform or call add method. And inside add method, you can pass JavaScript object. So here we have a field name and email ID. And then again, this will work as a JavaScript promises, so you can handle with the help of them and catch plot. So like if you want to get some data from specific collections, then you need to call get method. If you want to delete some data or the document in a collections, then you need to invoke delete method. If you want to update some data, then we need to invoke update method. So there are the multiple methods you can invoke or you can call uh, from the client end, and then you can perform CRUD operations with the help of Cloud Firestore. So now there is another database name is Cloud Firebase real-time database. So Cloud Firestore is great for like if you are building a very large scale web applications. But this is not the only solutions available in the Firebase for storing informations. So Firebase real-time database uses a simple JSON tree structure to store informations and you can access the data. It's a lightweight database as compared to the Cloud Firestore. So whenever you want to create a small, lightweight applications, then you can use Firebase real-time database. It's a lightweight as compared to the Cloud Firestore. It's offer many advantages such as real-time syncing, offline support, and the scalability. So here is the example for adding this data into the real-time database. Like I have defined a variable name is my name, and here I pass the value of this name. And then you can create a JavaScript object with the help of the curly braces, and then we have a key value. And for adding a data, then first we need to create a reference. My reference name is data, and then you can set data. So we have a set data. If you want to like append the data, then you can use push method. And then there's another service name is Cloud Storage. Although the real-time database and the Cloud Firestore are great for storing primitive data, but sometimes you need to store, let's say, server side or serve user generated content such as, let's say, images, audio file, PDF file. So here, what this type of file, you can store these informations with the help of cloud storage. So cloud storage, you can like easily access, and you can store those informations in easy way, and you can trust it in like it will provide you a lot of security rules like you don't need to worry about the infrastructure or how the data is going to be stored. You can create a directory and then you could put your file in that particular directory. So this is a simple example for uploading, let's say, the PDF file on Cloud Firestore. Sorry. So first we have a database reference, and then for uploading a file on the Firebase storage, we need to invoke put method. And inside put method, you can pass the file. And then this will work as a JavaScript promises. And within a single line of command, you can upload the file into the Cloud Firestore storage. The next services is Firebase hosting. So let's say you have created a website with the help of HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript, and then you can test your website with the help of browser. Now you need to make your website, which is accessible from different network, different devices. Then you need to host your website. So Firebase hosting is a fully managed hosting services for static and dynamic content, and this services is backed by the SSD storage and global CDN content delivery network. It's a free, you will get free SSL certificate once you deploy your website. And Firebase hosting is very simple. You just need to invoke three commands: Firebase init, Firebase serve, and the Firebase deploy. Within a three single of command, which you can host your website. The next services is Cloud Functions. So basically, Cloud Functions we use for writing our custom business logic. You can write your custom business logic. Let's say some user has uploaded some images file on cloud storage, then you will get a notifications. Let's say X user has uploaded a file. So you can write these custom logic for the notifications. You can perform these logic with the help of Cloud Functions. So it's a powerful tool that helps you to like handle the complex logic operations within a Firebase, such as performance operations on your code or the database part. And this is a serverless architecture. Let's say you just need to write a code and then you need to deploy the code, and that's it. You don't need to worry about the backend part. And then we have our next services is called as Firebase extension. So while cloud functions for Firebase are like powerful, but sometimes we just need a solutions to a common problem. Let's say you have uploaded a file, the image file on the cloud storage. Let's say you have uploaded an image file on the cloud storage. The image file size is around 250 MB. So before uploading a file on the cloud storage, you can reduce the file. So you can call reduce Firebase extensions, like which is pre-built cloud functions. Let's say someone has entered some data into the cloud Firestore as a database part, and then you can get a notifications on a mail, or you can translate the text real time. You can use these extension, which is pre-built, pre-made configurable functions. The next one part is Firebase Cloud Messaging. Like with the help of Firebase Cloud Messaging, you can send a push notifications to the user with an easy way. Notification can be sent to the Android, iOS, and the web devices, and it may be addressed to the individual devices or the group of devices. And one of the best thing about Firebase Cloud Messaging is, which is free. You just need to invoke the functions, and then you can trigger the push notifications to the n number of devices or the single devices. So in summary, you can create a web applications with the help of Firebase, with the help of using these services. Like you can authenticate your user with the help of Firebase authentication as a service. If you want to use as a database or on a Firebase, you can use Cloud Firestore or the real-time database. Or if you want to upload some image file, PDF file, media file, then you can use Firebase storage, cloud storage. And if you want to host your website, then you can use Firebase hosting. And let's say if you want to write your custom business logic, then you can go with the cloud functions, and here you can write a custom business logic. And Firebase extension is pre-built, pre-made configurable functions that you can import. Uh, And then we have a cloud of Firebase Cloud Messaging. With the help of these messaging, you can send a push notifications to the n number of devices or single devices with the help of Firebase Cloud Messaging. So this is all about like the Firebase for the web. Like you can build anything with the help of Firebase, and yeah, you can up to which we create infrastructure with the help of web and Firebase. So I'll give you the simple example like how we can use these concepts for building simple web applications with the help of Firebase. So let's take an example how we utilize these tools in the web. So let's say in your community, you can create a form for the event registrations, and we're going to talk about the architecture of this web applications. So first, you can create a HTML page having the registration fields such as name, gender, mobile number, the year of, let's say, graduations. So you can create a simple registration form for the event page. And then before submitting this form, you can authenticate the user with the help of Firebase authentications. Let's say user need to log in with Google account, and then they will be able to fill the form. So you can provide the security like only authenticated user can fill the form. So here you can use authentications. You can authenticate the user with the help of mobile number, Google account, Twitter account, or the email ID and the password. So it's totally up to you. After the authentications, user can submit the form, and then here you can use the concept of Cloud Firestore. Here you can store the informations of the user, and once the user submitted, let's say the data or the informations you are storing into the Cloud Firestore, then you can trigger the Cloud Functions uh, to sending a confirmation mail, and then you can post to sending a confirmation mail, you can use the Cloud Functions, and then you can push this entire web applications. Yeah. So you can host this entire solutions on Firebase hosting, and this is a simple example you can implement in your community for building this registration page. Yeah. So you can do anything with the help of Firebase. So again, Firebase is like for me, like you just need an idea and you can build anything with the help of Firebase. So again, Firebase is like for me, like here you can build anything in the community or the society or any problem statement. You just need to identify the problem and then you can like connect with any services and then you can build it. So again, it's like as a पहले इस्तेमाल करे फिर विश्वास करे. So like yeah, you can build anything with the help of Firebase. So to know more about Firebase, the documentations, you can visit the link firebase.google.com, and here we have a documentations of the Firebase services. You can select the platform. Let's say we are working on web, then you can navigate to the web platform, and then here we have there will be a lot of documentations about the web services in the Firebase, and then and here are the some organizations who are using Firebase for the productions like the new uh, Citrix, CP, Code Academy. There are multiple companies who are using Firebase for the production ready web applications. And to know more about more about this Firebase product, like you can follow the documentations. Here we have a code labs. You can check out the code labs and then you get the informations about like building web applications with the help of Firebase. And also, I have written a Medium articles like for each services, like if you are a beginner and if you want to build web applications with the help of Firebase, let's say with the help of individual services. So you can follow me on Medium, and here we have a lot of articles about the Firebase. And also, I have created a YouTube channel name is Tech Ferment. Here we have mentioned the videos about these services, like how we can create a simple web applications, let's say the kind of applications with the help of Firebase, or let's say calendar type of applications with the help of Firebase. So, is there any questions? I'm open for the questions. Yeah. So yeah, it's totally like your it's a problem statement. You just need to find the solutions, and then you need to connect with any Firebase solution, Firebase services, and then you can build any applications with that Firebase. So any questions? Yeah, for the authentications, you can check out the website firebase.google.com, and then you can go to the navigate to the documentations, and you can select the services as Firebase authentications, and then you can find the documentations about Firebase hosting. Sorry, the authentications. Like here we have a separate documentations for, let's say, if you want to authenticate some user with the help of, let's say, mobile number. So there is a separate functions. Like you can check on the website. Okay. Yeah. So, like, if you have any other questions, you can connect with me on Twitter. My Twitter username is sbridgeraj, and I'll be happy to help you related to Firebase or the web technologies. You can just ping me on Twitter. Yeah. Thank you so much, entire GTSC team, for having me. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful session. It was really amazing, and we all learned a lot about Firebase. And I would like to thank all of those who attended this session live. And I would suggest that the links that Rajat sir mentioned were shared in the chat box as well. So make sure you go through them. And if you still have any questions or you are watching the session after the live has ended and you would still like to ask something to Rajat sir, make sure you connect with him on his Twitter. You can give him a follow. The link and the username of Sir's Twitter has been shared in the chat box. And other than that, please make sure that if you are enrolled in under GDSC Kalindi for the bootcamp, you do submit your assignments that were given out through the Google group emails. And if not, we'll share the link for that as well. You just click on this link that was shared just now in the chat box, and all you have to do is you'll be led to a Google group message where if you are added to the Google group, you'll be able to see it. And if not, you will just have to click on the join group button and reload it. Then you'll be able to see all the instructions. The deadline is 7th of June, and we again thank you all for attending today's session. And we again would like to thank Rajrat sir for taking out time from his busy schedule and coming here and giving us such great insights on Firebase. Thank you so much, sir. And we look forward to hosting you again.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.